Hi, it's Gary. Welcome to today's video. A few weeks ago on one of my YouTube lives, somebody asked if I could only have 5 pens for the rest of my life, what would they be? So I've thought about that, I've mulled it over in my mind, and today I'm going to present the 5 pens that I would pick if I could only have them for the rest of my life. And what I've tried to do is give my reasoning behind each of them. So join me now, down on the table, we'll jump on in and take a look at the 5 pens. Welcome down to the table. So the paper I've got today, this is a Rhodia A4 notepad. Temperature today, 25 Celsius, 68% humidity. Just letting you know so you get a full picture when we look at the drying times. So this was, as I said in the intro, fairly interesting, really made me think about what pens I would choose. So what I've done is I've split it. So I've got a couple of what I would call my everyday workhorse pens. I've got a mid-level pen. Then I've got a couple of what I would call my posh pens. You know, my initial thoughts when I looked at this was well, it's easy. It's going to be all my posh pens. But then I thought, well, doesn't that defeat the purpose of the exercise of what we're trying to do here? So that's why I thought, well, I'll break it down a little bit. So the first pen, if I could only have 5 for life, I would go for a Jinhao 100. I decided to pick the white version of this. I've got a number of these. I went for the white version because I thought, well, white, you could use any ink, can't you? I love the cracked ice nature on here. We've got a very stiff there cartridge converter. Comes with a cartridge converter. And on here, we've got a number 6 nib. This isn't the nib that came with it. This is actually a Goulet broad nib. The Jinhao nib is okay. My preference is for broad nibs, so I thought, well, let's swap the nib. Didn't say anything about the nibs being for life. And one of the reasons for picking this, dead easy to change the nib. It's a number 6 nib. Loads of different choices out there. So that's why I went with this. So we've got here a Jinhao 100 Centennial. This has got, as I say, a broad Yoho nib. Price-wise, 19 Aussie dollars on AliExpress. The ink is by Robert Oster. And it's Honeybee. Seeing loads of shading coming from this. It's a nice pale brown ink. Drying times, immediate. 10 seconds. 30 seconds. Still getting a little bit of a smudge there, but not really worth doing a 1-minute test. I'm going to do the grid like I see Wasky Squirrel doing. So up and down. Nice ink flow coming out side to side. Then diagonal. A bit of mist there. And then like a grid pattern. Very nice, consistent writer. You can get in loads of different colours. I say, for this video, sorry, I've just kicked the camera. For this video, I've decided to go with this white because, you know, it's meant to be there for life, so it leaves me open to any different ink colour. So that's the Jinhao 100. My second pen in my workhorse type pens, I've decided to give to the Kaweco Sport. Again, I've gone for the white colour. Leaves it open in terms for the choice of inks. Very nice pocket pen, small pen. Just fetching that Jinhao 100 there, you can see the difference in size. Unposted, it's teeny, it's very hard. You can do a word or two, but you wouldn't want to write for a long time. But once you post it, very nice. Nice, still fairly light, fairly thin feeling, but it's very nice to write with. It goes in the pocket, you can take it anywhere with you. It's plastic, you're not going to worry about damaging it. It comes when you buy it with a cartridge. You can buy a converter. It's a special Kaweco converter. Comes in about, I think it's about 15 Aussie dollars. It's only very small though, doesn't hold a lot of ink. Or you can do what I've done. I've eyedropped this. There's not a lot of ink left in here. This was the last of an inked sample, so I'm just using it up in this pen. All I do is around the threads, all the threads are plastic. I just put a little bit of silicone grease. Then every so often, as it looks like it's getting very thin, I'll put a little bit more on it just to help keep that seal. But I say posted, beautiful, very nice. So this is a Kaweco Sport. The nib on here is a 1.1 stub nib. They've got a massive range of different nibs, so it's well worth checking them out. They're only small nibs though, so very difficult to swap with other manufacturers, but Kaweco nibs, loads of choice. Price-wise, it's actually quite reasonable, I think, 41 Aussie dollars. The ink is by PenBBS, and it's number 276, Chengdiu City Red. Drying times, there's immediate, 10 seconds, 30 seconds, 1 minute. After a minute there, that's nice and dry. Let's do our grid. This is where hopefully we should see some of the natural line variation coming out in this ink, or in this pen should I say. So up and down, as you can see, we've got a really nice wide line. See here, we've got a wide line going down as well. Going across, that line is a lot narrower. Can't really see it when we're doing like that, but when we do our hatches, hopefully it should start to come out. So there we can start seeing that. Then in our ups and downs, there's the line going down, and there's the line going across. So definite variation in line there. So I say for another workhorse pen, for a pen you can just chuck in your pocket, chuck in your bag, chuck virtually anywhere, the Kaweco Sport. I'll move this up a little bit. My next pen is what I'm calling my intermediate level pen. So that sits in the middle. And I've decided to give that to the Just Turnings Mimas. This is in black copper. Went for this because the material mainly very dark. So I can match virtually any ink with this again. But then we've got this beautiful copper colour. So when I'm using something like Robert Oster terracotta, or like any orangey type or browny type ink, should look all right. But again, I'm really leaving it open by having a majority black pen. Loads of pens in this price range. The other thing I like about this, it's a handmade pen. It's made here in Australia, made by Just Turnings, who are based over in Brisbane. Exceptionally nice pen. The nib unit on this is a Yoho nib unit. So on here I've got a broad. Again, one of the reasons for liking this, easy to swap the nib. So you can put loads of different nibs on there, loads of options. So not limiting yourself to one thing. So if you don't like it, just change the nib. All the pen really is a holder for a nib. Comes with a converter. It's a Schmidt K5 converter, I believe. Very nice. Doesn't post, but very nice to hold. Nice length, nice width. So here we've got a Just Turnings Mimas. Just to agitate the pen a bit because there might be a bit of shimmer in this ink. It's a broad nib. I say it's a Yoho unit. Price wise, these aren't cheap. $170. I think they're exceptional good value though. It's a handmade pen. It's virtually a one-off. You know, when you look at the material, how many other are going to have this exact same pattern? Not many, is there? The ink is by Dieman. So this is a Tasmanian base, so another Australian company. And it's Twilight Mist. gorgeous purple ink. And not sure if it'll come through, has a gorgeous bright purple shimmer to it. Drying times, so we go immediate, 10 seconds, 30 seconds, 1 minute. Well, look at that. We're still smudging a tiny bit there. Not going to do a 2-minute test though. Let's do the grid. My poor grid seems to be getting bigger and bigger as we're going along. So up and down. Now this is one of the issues I have. I think this is to do with it being a shimmer ink. Sometimes the feed gets blocked up. There we go, got that right in again. I just had to prime the feed a bit. It's my own fault for using a shimmer ink. I often find that with a lot of my pens, they just don't like shimmer inks. They seem to dry, especially in the hot weather we've been having. Then we go cross hatches and ups and downs. So that's the Just Turnings Mimas with Van Dieman Twilight Mist. Now, just to fetch this up, we can see there in the writing, or I can, hopefully it comes over on camera, let me get it more central. You can see little bits of purple shimmer coming through. Especially, where we've been writing that Van Dieman Twilight Mist, there's loads. Just dropping in to interrupt your regular programming. Would you like to help support the channel? If so, please consider joining as a member. As a member, you'll get early access to my videos. I normally upload them a couple of days before they go out, and as soon as they're uploaded, they'll be released to members. There'll also be a shout out at the end of the videos, and then as we get the members coming in, we'll actually chat among ourselves and work out what other perks, what other things you'd like me to add in. You know, would you like maybe a monthly live chat just for members? All down to us. So please, if you can, consider joining the channel. A link will be in the description down below. So now we get into what I'm calling my luxury pens. These are essentially the more expensive pens. The first one is actually the first of these luxury pens. It's by Leonardo, and it's the Leonardo Momento Zero Grande. Beautiful. This is dark Hawaii is the pattern. Very nice. We've got blues in there. We've got browns, loads of different colours. So you can match this quite nicely with lots of different inks. It's a piston filling pen. So this is the piston mechanism. Not going to work it obviously because it's full of ink. It's the Grande, so you can get the Leonardo Momento Zero, which is slightly shorter. I've just brought in my scrap paper here just to rest my hand on so I don't sweat onto the page. Number 6 size nib, I believe made by Yoho. I love the section on this. I think this is very comfortable. They have swapped back to more of that hourglass type section, but I really like this. I hold my pens fairly low, so it feels quite nice. So we've got a Leonardo Momento Zero Grande. This has a medium nib. Price-wise, we are taking a jump. $377. This is why I'm saying it's a luxury pen. It's not a pen for everyday use. Although I do use it for my everyday use because I love it so much. The ink is by Diamine. And it's Jack Frost. Nice blue ink. Does have a bit of a red sheen. I don't see a lot of sheen with this combo. To be honest, I don't see a lot of sheen with this particular ink, regardless of pen that I use it in. Just means I haven't found the right pen, really. Drying times. So we go immediate. 10 seconds. 30 seconds. 1 minute. Still smudging there a little bit. Not enough to do a 2-minute test though. And we'll do our grid, see if I can get a smaller version again. There we go, a little bit smaller than that. I did that last time. So up and down, very wet writer this. Beautiful pen, very smooth. A little bit of feedback. I like a little bit of feedback in my pens. Puts down that gorgeous line. So that's the Leonardo Momento Zero Grande. So my final pen, again, let's just move this up a bit, in my luxury pen category. Up till recent times was my most expensive pen. This is the Pilot Custom 823. Made in Japan. It's got a 14 karat gold nib. Beautiful nib. It's a Pilot number 15 nib. Very similar size-wise to a number 6 size nib. Love this brown, and I love the fact it's slightly transparent so you can see the ink. This is a piston filling pen, not going to work the mechanism, but essentially this you would unscrew. It's currently unscrewed. You pull it up, which pulls this bar and plunger. As you push the plunger down, creates a vacuum behind it. When it gets down near the bottom, the inside of the barrel widens slightly, releases the vacuum and sucks the ink up into the pen. If I'm out and about, I close down this. What that does is that actually seals the body off from the section. So if you have an issue with air pressure, you're not going to dump the entire contents of your pen out through some kind of forced evacuation of the barrel. But when I'm at home, when I'm in the office, whenever I'm writing with it, I make sure I open it up so we've got that going through. Otherwise you use what's in the section and it stops writing. So we've got here a Pilot Custom 823, which is a broad, and as I say, it's a 14 karat gold nib. It is a lot of money. $521 Aussie dollars. I say up to recently my most expensive. The ink is by Diamine, and it's tobacco Sunburst. Beautiful brown ink, yellow leaning end of the brown spectrum, I would say. I see loads where we've got the shading, like it comes out with like yellows and really, really pretty. Drying times, immediate, 10 seconds, 30 seconds. Nearly dry there at 30 seconds. And we do our grid. Really wet when it's putting down this ink. This nib is very soft. It's got a real nice, like, bouncy feedback to it. Exceptionally nice to write with. So that's a Pilot Custom 823. Now I do have one more test I want to do with all 5 pens. But before that, let me just move my page up a little bit. I'm going to fetch in 2 pens that I didn't include because they're only fairly new to me. But they have very strong challenges to come into this top 5 list in that luxury pen end of the line. So first one is the Lamy 2000. This is Macrolon. Not going to talk in too much detail about these. Just thought I'd quickly show them. As I say, I may end up fetching these in. Lamy 2000, broad nib. And the ink is Diamine Writer's Blood. Exceptionally smooth writer. Price wise, it's $316. Now, although this is a broad nib, it's a very stubby broad nib. I really like it. Only had it a few weeks, which is why I've not included it, because I haven't had probably time to really fully assess it. Same goes for the next pen. The next pen is the Visconti Homo Sapiens Dark Age. Again, only had it a few weeks, not had time to use it in anger, so I can't 100% put it on this list, otherwise it would have been. But I thought, to be fair, I'm not going to include them, but just mention them. Hook safe mechanism, very quick to uncap. Vacuum filling pen, uses a Visconti vacuum method. And so we've got here Visconti, Homo sapiens. Sapiens. Just going to put Dark Age. It's broad, but it's 18 karat gold. The ink, Diamine, Earl Grey. It's a whopping price, 1,141 Aussie dollars. Look there, I got a little bit extra ink come out. I pressed a bit too hard. So this is something, again, why it's not been included. I haven't been able to find out what the idiosyncrasies are of the nib, which I've been able to do with all the others. But I thought I'd just show them because they're heavy contenders, just not there because I haven't used them enough. So I've got one final test to do. Move that all the way up. What I'm going to do is move the mic down to the page and write a sentence with each pen. So we'll start with the Jinhao 100. Teeny bit of feedback, a little bit of an issue there with the downline on the D. Kaweco Sport, again making sure I'm using it posted. Love the natural line variation that we get from the stub on this. The Just Turnings Mimas. Nice line there coming from that medium nib. Enjoyable to write with, again, beautiful feedback. The Leonardo Momento Zero Grande. Beautiful line there again, medium nib, puts down a nice line, very similar to the line we're seeing from the one above. And finally, that Pilot Custom 823. So here, again, beautiful soft nib, really gorgeous writing experience. Slightly wider line. It's a broad nib. So let's move this down. These are the 5 pens. If I had to pick 5 pens to keep for life, we've got, I'm just trying to get them all on the page. There we go. Hopefully that's right. The Jinhao 100 Centennial. The Kaweco Sport. Slightly move that up. Just Turnings Mimas. The Leonardo Momento Zero Grande, the Pilot Custom 823, and as I say, a couple of additions that may come in the future, the Lamy 2000 and the Visconti Homo Sapiens Dark Age. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. So that's my pick, that's my selection. What 5 pens would you choose? I think it's been a really interesting exercise and really made me think about my pens. And as I was coming up with the selections, I was actually surprised myself a little bit as well. So please drop down below, what 5 pens would you keep if you'd only have 5 for the rest of your life? Please hit the thumbs up button. Every time you like, every time you comment, just helps with the YouTube algorithm. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel so that you can get new videos as I release them. I'll talk to you again soon.